Hi everyone. Okay, so if at Zorro Ranch, for example, they have created hybrid creatures, we are going to have to accommodate for that kind of a revelation. If it is like the days of Noah, in the days before the flood, in the Garden of Eden gene splicing facility, they being the Archons, the Grigori, the fallen angels who came from the arch, the dome up the top there where the stars are, and they were the watchers, alright? Or seers, because in some books in the Bible they're called seers. I've got quite a lot going on at the moment, but now if they've been doing this again with genetics and blood, well, that means that we're going to have creatures. So in my studies, Noah was a giant and his sons were giants, and when they survived the deluge, because he was a good giant, a lot of other giants survived, humans survived, and so did the creatures. And the mermaids that were part human, part dolphin survived, and there's one called Oeneus, who did a lot of talking to people, or the kings, which were of course giants, because you know back in the day after the flood they started urbanizing, everything. And the giants were the builders, the people planted the seeds and grew the crops and things like that, and also herded the animals and bred the animals, goats and things like this. So breeding was going on again, okay? Goats, cows. Now, centaurs survived, part man, part horse, very strong, able to carry great loads. And the satyrs, part goat, part human, and chimeras, which was sort of like a woman's head, a lion's body, wings of an eagle, things like this. And they can't procreate, so they can't procreate, but they can be killed. They can live for an extended period of life as long as they aren't killed. Now, I don't know what they've been mucking around with in the facilities at Zorro Ranch, and probably other places in the world, but I would say that if they're creating things like super soldiers and cloning, etc., then they might also be going for the hybrid situation as well. So I don't want us to be afraid. I want us to be understanding that these creatures have been created and we might have to learn to live with them. We're not going to treat them like zoo creatures. We're going to have to treat them with compassion and, and not try to kill them. I don't know what we're going to do. So the centaurs, they lived for a time after the flood, and there was golden age, which everything was beautiful. The silver age, that's when the giants were born. That's when the fallen came, the archons, the Grigori, the Watchers, mated with women, created the giants, and of course every single one of those mums died, and somebody else had to raise that giant. They were never raised by their mother. And they were given to other humans to raise, and then they grew to be giants. Now, I mean, it could be mythology. I might be just like way off. The centaurs, they all end up killing each other and themselves, and in some sort of a war that the gods invited them to a wedding. And the giants were put against each other as well. One of the Satans, there's 5 Satans, one of the Satans decided that the giants had to go and pitted them against each other and make them hate each other and cause all sorts of horrible things to happen to them as well. 5 Satans. And I'll tell you the names. It's like Gabriel. Let me just get my book and I'll tell you their names. I'll just quickly come back to this position. The head device. Okay, so I don't know about what is the scepter and the orb that kings hold, but there's these weather weapons and to use to create storms. And what they do is they alter the pressure. So it's almost like they lift the pressure. When it's called low pressure, that's when the storm brews up. So they take the pressure away somehow and cause bad things to occur. And someone still has those weapons and they're using them right now. Now, we call them weapons, but they're a device, aren't they? Here they are. We've got Yekon, Y-E-Q-O-N, Yekon. Aspiel, Gadriel, Penny, Mirror, and Casday. So Yekon led astray the children of the Grigori on earth. That's the giants. Yekon fathered children with the earthling woman, but he made them all fight against each other. Okay. Aspiel suggested the evil plan to the giants. The Grigori, the giants as well, started eating humans and stuff. That didn't happen until after the flood, and there wasn't enough the animals being produced, and the plants weren't sustaining them and stuff, and so, oh God, it went bad. So Aspiel was like, oh, why don't you just eat some humans? Anyway, Gabriel showed the deadly blows to the Son of Men using the weapons of death that Samyaza taught them to smelter and forge. And also Gad, there's a book called Gad the Seer. Okay, so he might be Satan. I don't know if it's in the Bible. And Samuel the Seer, there's a book called that too. So Samuel, E-L, perhaps is also an angel. So Penemu taught spells, binding laws, contracts to Son of Men. So that's like binding your soul, putting you under a soul contract. That's like a law saying you can and cannot do this or that. And spelling, okay? So, you know, these things that people do, hexes and all that sort of shit. Now, Casday taught man the evil blows of demons that attack the soul even in the womb. Okay, so when a giant dies, their spirit doesn't have a place to go in the afterlife. So they are on what is called the other side. And we are in the afterlife and they are on the other side. And the demons are the genie and the jinn. They're all the same one. They're very possessive and obsessive, their spirit. So Cassadei taught man the evil blows of demons that attack the soul even in the womb. So that is to cause terrible things to happen to the child in the womb, okay? The 5 Satans are called the Satanael, A-I-L on the end. They rejected the Lord of Light and befouled the earth with their deeds. Okay, now it says that, I've done a lot of study on it, but, you know, like, it's an angel called Raquel, which is like Rachel, like Raquel, and leads humans into judgment. Now, Azazel apparently is the only one that was forgiven. So this is out of the original 200 of the Watchers, the Grigori from the Archangel realm, the Ark, the dome of our firmament, who defied and had the war in heaven and wanted to come down to earth. And you can look up all their names, they're all on Wiki. So the other side is also called the Nether realm. Neither here nor there, you know what I'm meaning? Neither here nor there. Yeah, so that's what I want to say. But anyway, I'm just listening to a lot of things and I don't know what they've done. But I can just about guarantee it won't be good. So it's something that we might have to live with. And I'm just putting it out there. May be true, may not be true. It may just be something that they could never be able to do again. But we need to consider, just in case. And remember that they didn't choose what has happened to them. They were made this way. Okay. So that is my thoughts for today.